It's not, okay.
Hey, Mark, just put stuff in perspective on the defensive sacks, like Patchen and Rousseau. Was that them? Was it 2 versus 1 format, 1 versus 1? Were they
It was 1 versus 1s, 2s versus 2s. I mean, there was some times when tackles just got beat off the edge and they're around the corner and it was over. Just guys that got to learn to get off on the snap count. You know, we practice verbal cadence, non-verbal cadence. We practice a lot of different things in the spring just to let everybody understand how we do things. And when we go non-verbal, they got to learn to start at the right time, and it's been a problem really all camp. Our tackles not getting off when the ball's being snapped. Defense is keying the ball, but the offensive linemen have a way of doing it, and they're getting off late. So I'm not saying the DNs didn't do a good job, but a lot of them were just jetting off the edge, and the tackle just not doing a good job of getting in position.
Jared Williams, 6 of 8, 2 touchdowns. The first, section of stats you read, is that against the 2s or the?
He was with the 2 unit. Okay. Anything you read past skeleton, those stats were 3s, basically 3s on 3s. But we gave him 2 shots with the number 2 offense.
I mean, he did pretty well.
He did a nice job.
How about Nkosi? Was he with the 1s at all?
He was both 1s and 2s. As it was happening, I didn't think he had many opportunities. The pockets really weren't very clean. I think he had the most sack yardage. Nkosi.
Williams actually did.
Williams did. Mm-hmm. But, Nkosi, he did take off on a run, had a long run, which took away a lot of his sack yards. I think Nkosi probably got sacked the most. But he did break out on a run for, I don't know if his 15, 20 yards or so.
Did Malik play with the second team at all?
Yes, he did. He had some 1s and some 2s. Nkosi had, I think, 4 times Malik was with the 1s, all right, and 3 times Nkosi was with the 1s, and the rest of their drives were with the 2s.
And they went against their own team, like 1s versus 1, you said,
yes,
right?
1 versus 1s, okay. 2s versus 2s.
Were we talking like full, just play it out, or spotting the ball?
We started out just putting the ball down. We don't have a lot of grass. We only had 40 really good yards of grass, so we started plus 40 and tried to drive the field. The 1s in the first half of the day had 0 points and barely a first down. Defense did a great job first half of practice. The 2s had a little more success offensively, but it's still, if you set every snap of the 2s, they probably got the better of the offense in the first half. Second half, the one drive the 1s had on the 40, they scored a touchdown. The 16-yard, start the ball at the 16-yard line, the 1s scored, offensive scored. So the 2 shots they had to score touchdowns. In the second half, the number 1 O scored. Number 2 O didn't do as good second half. And then we did some third down situations. No prerogative, everybody.
With Malik's stats, how would you assess it? We heard that.
We don't get too much into stats. We get into, did you make the right decision? As far as, we have to tell people who we consider a Mike linebacker to set protections and run game and all that. So are you doing that right? Are you handing the ball off properly and carrying out your fake? When you do drop back to pass, are you going through the proper progression? And if it's open, are you throwing an accurate ball? There are some balls that could be intercepted. Obviously, if you throw the ball and you hit a receiver right in the heart and it bounces up in the air and it's an interception, on the stat it's an interception. But for us, he gets a plus because he put it exactly where I asked him to put it. So we give an accuracy grade in comparison to a completion percentage grade. So we have a grade for doing their job properly. We have a grade for the technique of doing the job properly, which is mostly ball handling stuff. And then we have a grade for accuracy. That's kind of how we do it.
So what are your thoughts? I
saw Malik is ahead of everybody as far as just knowing what to do and how to do it. There's no question. Even throughout the week, we had 8 other practices. It was very evident. If we're going to try to run our total system, he's more than well equipped to do it. Nkosi is much better, and he's getting it. And he's also, I think, seeing, if you sit there and watch what Malik does and see some of the things that he does that maybe a younger guy wouldn't have figured out, you can see where having that experience to get us in the right play can make all the difference in winning a game, winning a play, winning a game. So. But Nkosi's come a long way. Cade's come a long way. Unfortunately, Cade's got conjunctivitis and he wasn't able to go. He's highly contagious right now. I'll say is about Jaron. He sometimes I use the term he doesn't know that he doesn't know, or he's just kind of sometimes he's just back there and feeling things, but when he does throw it at something, he usually hits it, which is pretty good. And the more I'll say he's learning at a very rapid pace, and him being here in the spring is really good for him and good for us.
You touched on Jaron, and you mentioned Rousseau and
Yeah.
Frierson. How did you see some of the early enrollees kind of handle this? Being
I
the first one?
really couldn't really say on the edges. What's happening to me is I'm calling plays. I'm watching more what coverage they're in than what numbers covering who and how's he doing. When I watch film is when I really get a better feel of what the defensive kids did. But I could say to this point, we really like our corners. They're what we thought. They're long, athletic. They can run. They're competitive. Rousseau. I mean, you see Rousseau in person. He's tall. He's got long arms. He's athletic. He's coachable. He's teachable. He was kind of hidden away in this little school, and I think if he was somewhere else, it'd have been a harder battle to get him, quite frankly. I think we stole one there. Trying to think of who else is here. Of course, Jaron's here. Lorenzo's done some really good things. He's still a little shaky on assignments, but we ask our backs to do a lot in pass protection. It's not easy to know who to block and then how to do it, but he's coming a long way. He picked up a beautiful blitz one time. We scored a touchdown on it. I tell you, Hightower has shown us that he is a physical blocker, and he's not afraid to catch a ball in traffic or battle when it's a tightly contested throw, which is what we thought we recruited. He's exactly what we thought. Wiggins, he'll flash, he'll make plays, but then he'll have issues because he's too skinny right now. He's not strong enough yet. He's not strong enough sometimes running routes. We're putting hands on receivers about every snap. No one's getting free access routes like you might have got in high school. You got to get off a jam almost every time. So between that and trying to block stronger, more physical guys, he's struggling. But like I told him today, I said, you got the skill set, but you got to get bigger, stronger, more physical in route running and blocking.
What about quarterbacks being live? Were they allowed to be
No,
tackled?
no, they weren't live.
Okay.
It was, I think, sometimes the official has to say it's a sack or not a sack.
Right.
I thought the officials did a great job of saying that was a sack or it wasn't a sack, and it didn't ruin the day at all. It was pretty good, actually.
Do a couple more guys. Jeff Thomas with the 2 touchdowns. Were those make you miss things?
Yeah, some of it. So I think he caught some from the inside lane and some from the outside lane. The slot or the outside lane. And I'll be honest with you, I was kind of picking and choosing. If I was calling a certain play and I thought it might go to the inside lane, I'll say, hey, get inside. If it was outside lane, I'll say, hey, get outside. Because he's a pretty dynamic guy with his speed, and he's doing a really good job. He's having a good spring.
Obviously, it's spring. With that said, what was the sloppiness factor? Were there penalties? Was it pretty close?
Not bad. Hardly any penalty. We had 2 flinches on the offensive line and 1 defensive pass interference. And that was it. And that's when you have a full ACC crew in there, it really makes your scrimmages much more real, and they did a good job. But defense definitely came out and kicked butt in the first half. Second half offense, on the ones anyway, had the best of it. So it was a good battle. But it's like I told the offense. I said, last year we got like 50 yards against Florida State in the first half. Got close to 300 or whatever it was the second half. I mean, day's not over yet. So they did a better job.
Did you keep the same 1 unit offensive line together? Or
there was a little bit. Coach Searles got frustrated a little bit and threw Tyler Gauthier at tackle a couple times because they're just running right off the edge and get them. I mean, you can't run any plays. I thought the route running was good, and I think we were getting open. But when we had time, we mostly threw and caught it pretty good. When we didn't have time, it was a sack.
Gauthier, right tackle or left tackle?
He played a little right tackle for a minute.
What do you want to
We
see?
were doing that all through spring, but it was more of he wasn't happy with what was happening and just put him out there. Put Hayden, I think, at center, which is great to have, a guy like Hayden who could step in and do that.
I just wonder about I know next week's a spring game.
Yeah.
What kind of, I know that's
It's
going
hard
to be a game.
it's
What kind of
hard
difference
to
do you
figure
expect?
out, because like today, offense versus defense, if the drive went to 5 or 6 plays and a D lineman needs the sub, if we split them up, there's really no one to come off the bench. Like now, we were going 1s and 2s in premise, but if there was a time that we just had to get a guy out of there, the defense would sub. If you split jersey colors and the one-off defenses in one color and the 2 defenses in a different color, then whoever's in the game, there's no backups. So if a drive goes, a little bit more than, if it goes to the 4th or 5th or 6th or 7th play, 8th play, I just don't know if we'll be able to just divide them up and say, this is the day. We might have to do more of what we did today to allow some type of substitution pattern. And I may huddle every snap just because it gives a little bit of a rest in between plays instead of just bang, 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 bang.
Do you feel health-wise you got out of it?
We were
okay?
blessed. We're hugely blessed. That's the first thing I pray for, and the first thing I'm thankful for when we pray afterwards is everybody came out of there good.
Thanks, everybody.
Yep.
Thank you, Mark.
All right,
Thanks, Mark.
Yep.